Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's your boy Naj. We got some not so exciting news today. Yeah. My beloved RS5 that I've had for 2+ years is deemed totaled. Okay, listen, like sometimes I feel like certain things happen to me every now and then where if I didn't have a camera to record it, nobody would believe me. Not my mom, not my dad, not my wife, not the police, not the insurance, nobody. Okay. Now, about a couple of weeks ago, I was just cruising home, doing like 40, 45, minding my own business. And I was looking in the side mirror, and apparently I was looking longer than I fucking should have. And by the time I got my eyes back on the road, I see this massive fucking animal that's just dead in the middle of the street. Okay. Initially, I thought it was a moose. Okay, so I went over it like a speed bump on steroids. Guys, like my car came off the ground completely. Like it wasn't a joke. I honestly thought I hit a fucking elephant, okay? I'm sure many of you can relate if you've ever ran over something in your car. The first thing that comes to mind is nothing. There is no mind function. There's only hearing. And all you're doing is hearing and assessing to assess what type of damage and how much it's gonna cost. Now, obviously, all I heard was a bunch of scraping under the car. Like the coolant light came on, system drive malfunction light came on. Every light and its mother light came on, okay? So I wasn't too far from the shop. I drove back and I have a buddy's body shop across the street. I get there and it's only like half a mile from the incident site, right? So I walked into the body shop. I went and get the guy. I tell him, hey, I ran over some animal. Let's go check it out. And we're just inspecting the front of the car because that's what seemed like the most damaged part was. And so we're looking at the front of the car, and initially in my head, I'm like, okay, maybe a couple of parts, maybe like a radiator, a couple of things at the bottom. Maybe I can just get them from Audi tomorrow, right? Fix it myself, call it a day. And boy, was I fucking wrong. So I walk back towards the rear of the car, and I just see this body, this deer, this Halloween-looking decoration dragging out the bottom side of the back of my car. And I was like, yo, how? Literally fucking how? This is not gonna be pretty. This deer's fucking antlers hooked onto the bottom control arms of the rear, and I was dragging this deer on its face for the last half a mile. How the fuck am I gonna explain this to the insurance guys? How? Explain to me how I'm gonna tell the insurance I hit a dead deer and somehow it got attached to the back of my car and I dragged it for like a half mile. How? So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna deal with the insurance tomorrow. But for now, I gotta get this deer unattached from the back of my car. And I was like, how the hell am I gonna do this now? Obviously, sandwiching its head between the pavement and my car for half a mile didn't break the deer loose. How the fuck am I gonna do this? And I did it. And if you're probably wondering how, it's the only way how. Drive back and forth, reverse back and forth. Eventually, it got broken free and it came out from under the car, okay? So I took the body, wrapped it in tarp and dumped it in front of the animal shelter. It looked like a mafia hit. I'm just kidding. I took it to the woods and I threw it there, but next morning comes around and I'm like, all right, it's time to make this insurance claim. And with Progressive, they have this app where you have to like put all these details about the incident, where you were, what time of the day, XYZ, and attach pictures and videos of the damage. Well, if most of the damage on a car is going to be from underneath, you're not going to see anything in the front. I mean, if you're just looking at the photos from the front, it looks like the bumper and grill, have some damage and maybe like a radiator blew because there was coolant under the car. And it was way, way more than that, way more than I anticipated. Okay. So long story short, I make the claim and the adjuster gets back to me in a few hours and he was like, here's your quote. So I look at the initial appraisal and he has it up for $2,500. $2,500. And then after my higher than Snoop Dogg deductible, that brings it down to a payout of about $540. I told the adjuster to bring his clown ass down to the shop and look at it in person since he likes to make jokes, okay? So he comes to the shop and we have the car on the lift and just blood and guts and just intestines all over the bottom of this RS5, dude. It was disgusting. As soon as we started inspecting it, I can see the adjuster get uneasy of the scene and he's wanted to throw up the whole entire time. He takes some photos. Mind you, there was no tear down yet. We didn't take anything apart. This is just visuals on photos of things you can see from under the car without having to, take things apart. So anyway, he goes back to his office and then he sends me an email a couple of hours later, and then he was like, hey, as with a lot of other RS5s, out there, I can't find the parts in our database for parts, because insurances, they tend to always want to, obviously fix something in the most efficient cost possible. And usually, which means getting aftermarket parts or, lower quality parts or secondhand parts, whatever it may be. So obviously he couldn't find any aftermarket parts of any of the items that I needed. So he messages me, he goes, hey, can you do me a favor? I'm like, sure. He said, can you get me a parts list? Can you tear down the car and get a parts list of everything that you think the car needs? I said, abso-fucking-lutely. Don't mind if I do. So anyway, we start taking apart this RS5. I'm just putting aside all of the parts that need to be replaced. And it was one thing after another, dude. The damage went through. Basically, it went through all of the items in front of the engine. Bumper, grill, radiators, condensers, basically everything from the front of the car up until the engine. So that's as far as the damage went on that car. So basically everything in the front needed to be replaced, and including there was a bunch of dents that were in all of my mufflers, right? From that deer just pounding around under there when I hit it. So we're taking stuff apart. Even the headlights, when I hit the deer, the bumper put so much upward force on the headlight from the bottom that it broke the top tabs of the headlight. And per, insurance standards, there's no proper way to repair like a headlight tab. So I had to quote, new headlights. What do you know? Now, let's go down the parts list, right? Now, for all the parts I needed to get this car back to where it was, I needed one of the bumper spoilers, the lower grille, the valence panel, the air deflector, intercooler, radiator, auxiliary radiator, radiator support, air duct, one fender liner, two fender liners, a headlight leveling sensor for the rear, another one of the front bumper spoilers, the front bumper cover. I don't know why it has the rear one as the reference photo. Obviously the grille, driver's side headlight, passenger side headlight, and the two distance control modules on the front bumper. Each one of those is $2,500. Guys, let me put it this way. Two of those distance sensors plus two of the headlights is 10 grand, not including any calibrations, any installation, any of that. Just parts from Audi was about $10,000 for just those four parts. Then we have the driver's side resonator, the rear resonator muffler, and the mid muffler. So just those mufflers, just those three parts of the exhaust were about $3,500-ish, almost $4,000. So that gives you kind of a scale of how much all these parts really cost. And now for a grand total of all the parts, we're looking at $20,000. 20 grand, dude. 20 grand just for these couple of front end parts. And that's not even including any paint, labor, calibrations, leveling, any of that shit. Nothing. That's just parts from Audi, okay? So obviously bummed out. I was super pissed off about it. And I was telling the insurance, hey, I want to buy it back so that I can fix it and drive it and, close that chapter. And basically they were saying that it's most likely not gonna go for auction for another 3 to 4 months. That's because all the paperwork they need to do, the gap insurance, the warranty refund, and all that stuff, it has to get settled before it goes for sale in the auction. So, and initially, like I said, that night I was looking at all the damage and I'm like, yeah, I could probably get the parts and fix it myself. Nope, totaled. The insurance decided to total the car since it was over, I guess, 50% of the current value. So I agreed to it and they ended up totaling it out. And just like that, dude, that car was honestly a champ. I had it from 42,000 miles up to 64,000 miles. It was stage 1 tuned. And I never, ever had to take it into the shop, ever. Okay, it never went into the shop. It never needed any repair or service. Obviously, the maintenance here and there, I would just do it myself. But the car was a beast. It was reliable. Even at 64,000 miles, no aero lights, nothing. It drove amazing. Okay, I'm sad to see it go, but I mean, for $20,000 worth of parts, I would rather take my money and put it into something else, personally. So that's that. Now, since that is all said and done, now I did already replace it with another car, and that car I should be taking delivery tomorrow. Now, I'm not going to obviously spoil a surprise. I'm not going to tell you what the car is, but if you really know me, you can assume what I replaced it with. You would know exactly what it is that I bought. For those of you who don't know, you might see it and ask me, why the fuck would you buy that car? We're gonna find out. Guys, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the video of my new car-ish, so it should be around within the next week or so. I'm super excited to get it, guys. You have no idea. I'm excited for it to be here and to record the next video, and I will see you guys later. Peace!